Thanks for joining us here for CBN News Today. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Charlene Israel. Time is running out for lawmakers to come to a compromise on a spending bill. There's only 4 days left to avoid a government shutdown, and neither side seems willing to budge. It comes down to Obamacare, Republicans determined to toss it.
Defund this bill that isn't working, that's hurting the American people, that's killing jobs, that's forcing people into part-time work.
Democrats pushing back, saying the health care law is non-negotiable.
You can huff, you can puff for 21 hours, but you cannot blow the Affordable Care Act away.
Today, the Senate is expected to vote on an amended bill to keep the government and Obamacare funded. But then the plan must go back to the House, where Republicans are not expected to be receptive.
The American people don't want the president's health care bill, and they don't want the government to shut down. Republicans are listening.
Still, another opportunity for Republicans to take aim at Obamacare may be on the horizon. Treasury Secretary Jack Lewis says the government will hit its credit limit on October 17th unless Congress raises the debt ceiling.
We're going to introduce a plan that ties important spending cuts and pro-growth reforms to a debt limit increase.
But that's in exchange for a one-year delay in implementing the health care law. The president says he won't negotiate. He went on to say the debt ceiling has never been used to negotiate non-debt matters.
No Congress before this one has ever in history been irresponsible enough to threaten default, to threaten an economic shutdown, to suggest America not pay its bills, just to try to blackmail a president into giving them some concessions on issues that have nothing to do with the budget.
However, according to the Washington Post, that isn't true. They point to at least 25 times that in the mid-70s and 80s that Congress has used the debt ceiling to force concessions by the White House. And that seems to be exactly what the current Congress intends to do.
The president says, I'm not going to negotiate. Well, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work that way.
And there are parts of Obamacare that Republicans may not need to delay. Much of the law simply isn't ready. The small business and Spanish language version of Obamacare will not be released until November.
One group that's been a target of the Obamacare push are the seemingly healthy 18 through 34-year-olds that oftentimes aren't insured. They've been dubbed the young Invincibles, but they could be the ones hurt most by the president's health care plan. According to a study by the Manhattan Institute, Obamacare will increase insurance rates for young men by an average of 97 to 99%. Young women could see an increase of 55 to 62%.
The U.S. economy improved in the second quarter of the year. It grew at a 2.5% annual rate from April through June. That's an improvement from the first quarter of the year. Still, economists are concerned that growth might be slowing down. Many analysts believe growth is weakening to at or below 2% in the current quarter.
The White House says it has found more than $100 million to help fix a bankrupt Detroit. The grant will allow the city to hire more police and firefighters and clear out blighted neighborhoods. But it is still far less than the $18 billion of debt facing the Motor City. The president's chief economic advisor, U.S. Attorney General, Transportation Secretary, and Housing and Urban Development Secretary are spending the day in the Motor City. They'll meet with Michigan's governor, the emergency city manager, and the mayor. Leaders have pledged, quote, there is not going to be a bailout.
The FBI has spent more than $3 million on drone operations since 2006. That's according to a new report from the Justice Department's Inspector General. Civil liberties groups say domestic drone use invades people's privacy, but the IG report found the FBI only operated drones after getting all of the required approval. Justice Department's Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives also plans to start using drones to support future operations.
Members of the UN Security Council and Germany met with Iran's top diplomat Thursday. The meeting intends to pave the way for the first round of negotiations on the nuclear issue since April. And although Iran's President Hassan Rouhani has adopted a more moderate approach than his predecessor, the U.S. remains skeptical Iran's supreme leader will actually allow a change in course.
I don't believe this difficult history can be overcome overnight. The suspicions run too deep. But I do believe that if we can resolve the issue of Iran's nuclear program, that can serve as a major step down a long road towards a different relationship.
President Obama and other officials say Iran must prove its commitment with actions, not just words. Our terrorism analyst Eric Stakelbeck told Newswatch anchor Mark Martin that the Iranian strategy is to stall for time.
I think it was genius for the Iranian regime to hand-select Hassan Rouhani and put him out there. He's a guy who's going to speak in moderate tones. He's going to talk about peace, talk about dialogue. And Mark, literally, while he is talking Western leaders to death, Iranian leaders are going to develop weapons of mass death. That's the plan here. Play out the string until we wake up one day, Mark, and we find out that Iran has tested a nuclear bomb.
And don't forget to check out Eric's weekly show and blog, The Watchman. You can find that at our website, cbnnews.com.
Britain, China, France, Russia, and the United States all say Syria must dismantle its chemical weapons stockpiles. The 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council reached the agreement after a weeks-long discussion on how to enforce the resolution. The agreement says the UN will have to authority hold Syria accountable to dismantling its weapons. The resolution is in response to the Damascus poison gas attack in August that killed hundreds of people.
Well, it is into its 3rd year. The Syrian civil war is plunging its people into poverty. But while the average income is decreasing, the cost of food has soared. As Caitlin Burke reports, millions are at risk of malnutrition.
Across Syria, thousands of people are living in battle zones. The 3-year conflict has caused severe food shortages, making it nearly impossible for families to stay nourished. Struggling to survive, they're dependent on whatever the rebels can set aside for them.
What do you want us to do when the children need milk, clothes, and food? Here we have no electricity, no water or anything, and we're not getting any help.
U.S.-based aid group Save the Children says 1 in 20 children living in areas around Damascus is severely malnourished. Across the country, they say more than 3 million kids are in urgent need of assistance. Save the Children is appealing to the international community to step in. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon agrees.
The region is being dangerously destabilized. We have seen the worst chemical weapon attack on civilians in a quarter century. A lost generation of young people now fills refugee camps. Who among us can say that they and their mothers and fathers are wrong to feel abandoned by the international community?
The UN estimates close to 7 million people in Syria are now living in poverty. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Islamic militants are suspected in the murders of a pastor and his son in northeast Nigeria. They also killed the village chief. Police say the attackers used explosives to torch the church and 5 homes. It happened in Yobe State, where the radical Muslim group Boko Haram is waging war on Christians and the government to establish an Islamic state. More than 1,700 people in northern Nigeria have died in the uprising since 2010.
U.S. lawmakers are taking action that will help persecuted Christians. The House of Representatives passed overwhelmingly a measure creating a special envoy for religious minorities in South Central Asia and the Middle East. The envoy would help develop policy options to ensure the protection of minority faith communities, as well as serve as a high-level advocate with the U.S. and foreign governments. The measure still has to pass the Senate.
South Sudan Bishop Elias Tabin has been named one of the winners of the Clinton Global Initiative Citizen Awards. Bishop Tabin was a child soldier during Sudan's bloody civil wars, and despite a brutal and impoverished childhood, he came to know Jesus Christ as his Savior and now spreads the gospel throughout Africa.
If I had not accepted Jesus as my personal Savior, I don't know what would happen, brother. That's also a question for myself. And because of this, I keep on thanking Jesus for accepting me as a sinner and delivering me from my sins.
Bishop Tabin has provided key humanitarian assistance to the South Sudanese through his water wells, orphanages, health clinics, and schools across the newly formed country.
The Reverend Billy Graham has added his voice to the chorus calling for the release of Pastor Saeed Abedini. Abedini is serving an 8-year prison sentence in an Iranian prison for his Christian faith. Reverend Graham has published a full-page letter in the New York Times urging Iran's president to free Abedini. Meanwhile, Thursday, members of Congress and the State Department attended a prayer rally for Abedini outside the White House. State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary Jane Zimmerman offered her thoughts and prayers. She said they're with the pastor and his family as they work to bring him home.
Coming up, it's the weekend, and our movie review has the family-friendly scoop on Cloudy with Meatballs 2, baggage claim, and more.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dog. He taught me the true value of this paper dog. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was. Help! And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be. But they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Looking for something to watch at the theater this weekend? Here with this week's movie review is Bob Waliszewski. He's director of Focus on the Family's entertainment review department called Plugged In Online. Bob, let's talk about a sequel of a movie that you liked the first time around, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Does the second one live up to the first?
It does. We gave this one a remarkable score, a 4.5 out of 5 for family friendliness. The inventor in the first one, Flint, he shut down his food-making machine because it was taking over Swallow Falls. Well, at least we thought he shut it down. Actually, behind the scenes, it was creating these part food, part animal atrocities that may be threatening humanity. Thing like things called crocodiles and apple pythons. He may have bitten off more than he can chew this time around. The reason why I got knocked down a half a point is that there's a light barrage of toilet humor, but I don't think it's any deal killer for families. Just people ought to know that it's there before they make that decision.
Well, I'm really curious about this next one. Baggage claim is out this week. What is your recommendation on that one?
You know, this one didn't score quite as well, although there was some pretty incredible lines about marriage, very focused on the family-ish, if you will. A little bit about the movie first. We're introduced to Montana, a stewardess who finds out that her college-age sister is getting married. She has never wanted her sister to get married before her, and before the rehearsal dinner for her wedding, she is determined to find the man of her dreams. What I liked about this film was not just once, but twice we hear this line: the magic is not in getting married, the magic is in staying married. Again, so biblical, so focused on the family, just an incredible, great message for those that go see this movie. The reason I'm not recommending people do that, however, is because there was quite a bit of inappropriate, I'll use the word sleazy dialogue that accompanied this movie that just killed it and just marred it for family friendliness, and so I can't recommend that one.
Yeah, lost there. Let's go back to last week with Battle of the Year. What about that one?
You know, it didn't screen for the press, so we didn't talk about that one, but it stars Josh Holloway of Lost fame. This time, he's struggling with the bottle. His wife and his teenage son were killed in a traffic accident, but we find out he was a great basketball coach, and he was a break dancer, now called b-boying in this generation. And a wealthy man approaches him and says, "I'd like you to coach the b-boy team if they're going to the national championships." And he doesn't think he can, doesn't think he really wants to. We've kind of seen this plot before, but reluctantly and eventually he decides to sign on to coach. And there is also some very inspiring moments in this film. You know, the type, there's no I in the word team. It's about taking a bunch of individuals and bringing them together. In fact, there's film clips in this movie that pastors could use in a sermon down the road. Sadly, on this one, there was quite a bit of profanity that marred this film as well. And as such, it gets a 2.5 out of 5 for family friendliness as well.
All right, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball 2 stays. Thank you so much, Bob.
It stays. Okay, we'll talk next week.
Up next, they can't go to the farm, so the farm is coming to them. Meet the man who's bringing fresh food into the inner city.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Have you ever wondered where your food comes from and what's been done to it? You might want to know.
That's right. That's why so many people have gone back to buying food the old-fashioned way from local folks they can trust. Lori Johnson tells us the unique story of one man who's taking local food to the people who need it most.
Early in the morning, Mark Lilly drives his farmer's market on wheels from Richmond, Virginia to the countryside. He stops at a number of family farms to pick up the food he'll sell a little later when he returns to the city. And talk about fresh. These melons were on the vine at sunrise and will be on someone's dinner table at sunset.
Most times it's not sprayed with heavy chemicals, and it's very low intensive farming. It's not industrialized farming, and there's not a whole lot of pesticides or herbicides. The soil, more than likely, these smaller farms are rotating their crops. The soil has more nutrients in it, and they're throwing organic matter back into the soil.
Local produce is also healthy because it's picked ripe when vitamins are at their peak. On the other hand, produce that's shipped long distances is picked early and often sprayed with chemical ripeners.
So they put all kinds of preservatives and additives on the food. I mean, I've even heard of them like spray painting the food to give it color.
Mark also goes local for dairy, livestock, and poultry. This is also good for the environment because it takes less fuel to transport the food from farm to market. The farthest Mark travels is 150 miles to an Amish farmer in the Shenandoah Valley for pure maple syrup and organic whole grain bread. Then, after he collects the food from rural areas, he heads back to the city, the inner city. This roving farmers market makes its stops in so-called food deserts, urban areas where thousands of people without transportation live more than a mile from a grocery store. Here, folks have little choice but to buy whatever unhealthy processed food is available at a convenience store next to the cigarettes and lottery tickets.
Y'all need some fresh vegetables?
Yes.
Got a whole bus full of stuff right here.
I think it's a blessing for certain people, for basically everybody, because everybody don't have a ride to go out, and I think that since it's growing, it's more healthy.
Mark teaches his customers about what he sells and what he doesn't.
I've had a lot of people ask me for bananas and pineapples and oranges and all different types of stuff. It just doesn't even grow in Virginia, much less like in season, you know. So there's a whole education process that people have to adopt.
And he teaches them how to cook foods they don't normally put on their table.
You put it in the oven for about 45 minutes on about 350, 375.
He accepts food stamps and is so passionate about distributing healthy food, he sometimes just gives it away.
Y'all share it out, right?
He's even gotten the attention of city leaders.
I think it's a marvelous idea. It really helps to educate the population, give them an opportunity to have access to really fresh fruits and vegetables that they might not normally be able to get to in some of the better end city markets.
Visiting retirement homes is also a priority because seniors especially need a healthy diet.
I think it's a beautiful thing because you got some people in here that are diabetics and so forth and so on, and they can come out and get fresh vegetables. And it's organic, which is fantastic.
It's hard for some of us to get to the stores. And if we do get to the store, we got to catch the bus, 2 buses, and we got to catch 2 buses back. So I think this is really wonderful.
Betty, yours is $3.
Mark's been doing this for 4 years. He got the idea many years ago, but needed the proper motivation to begin.
I was fortunate, I got fired from my job. That was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Mark had a big dream to take healthy food to people who don't normally get it, but he had a small budget. So he bought this old church bus for $3,600 off Craigslist and made these shelves with scrap wood. Within a month, he was on the road and has made enough money to support his family. He hopes more people will hop on the local food bandwagon because he says America's current food system is unsustainable.
Instead of waiting for something to completely fall apart and collapse, we can actually try to change it before that happens.
Mark says he's never worked this hard, but has never been happier knowing his customers don't have to worry about where their food comes from. Lori Johnson, CBN News, Richmond, Virginia.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you going to do? You're going to drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG. In theaters October 4th. If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music. It's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book, his words shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you going to do? You're going to drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG. In theaters October 4th.
A woman in Nashville has come up with a solution to help prostitutes get off the street.
That's right. Minister Becca Stevens offers women a free alternative. They can work for the company she started, Thistle Farms, making soaps, oils, and other cosmetic products. The best part? The program also offers free housing. A survivor of sexual abuse herself, Becca knows firsthand how these women need a job and place to live if they want their lives to change.
What I didn't know was that period would link me to the women on the streets forever.
This is the red light district, you would call it. When you get ready, you let me know.
75% of the women she has helped have stayed off the streets. Some are even helping Becca reach even more women from the red light district. You can find out more by visiting her website at thistlefarms.org. What a
Beautiful.
good story. I love that. Giving hope. Well, that's going to do it now for CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.